Hey guys, my name is Rebecca Kisidu, aka Mrs. Kiss, and welcome back. So last time I did a video on how to handle difficult questions in relationship, and I received a lot of people commenting and asking me to do actual scenarios or questions. So let's get right into it. These are your examples. Okay, so this is a disclaimer. The fact that you meet somebody in church or in conferences or dressed up in suits or in long dresses doesn't mean that they don't have any baggage. We all have different struggles going on, different challenges. So it's important. That's why it's important for you to ask questions in relationship. And by giving you these scenarios, I'm not in any means saying that they're exclusive and those are the only questions that you can ask. There's numerous things you can ask people when you're in a relationship. So don't think that this is all that it is, okay? So let's get right into it. So I have a whole list here. We're gonna go through it, okay? So the first one is, what is your source of income? Somebody would say, oh, wait there, there's nothing. What is your source of income? Honey, that's not their source of income. Some people, their source of income comes from their parents. Some people, their source of income is from their sisters. Please find out what the source of income is. Don't assume that the fact that they work at, a food shop or they're a nurse or their doctor means that that's their source of income. Some doctors are paying loans and their parents are taking care of them. So what is your source of income? The next one that I have here is, how many sexual partners have you had and when was your last sexual encounter? Some people, it's more than what you see on the fingers. If people want to cry there, it's uncountable. And your last sexual, you may have, the reason why it's important is that you may have met somebody today and then next 2 months, somebody will come and claim that they had sex with them 3 months ago. See, all these things you need to ask, because when you ask, then, you go into the relationship with some kind of peace of mind. And it's important. And see, you need to ask that. And also, do you require sexual encounter or any sexual experience before marriage? Believe it or not, we live in a crazy world. Some Christians would want to taste the honey before they marry you. And so if you're a Christian and then you are not, which I recommend that you are not, going in for sex before marriage, you need to be able to ask that. And also, some people would want to have sex after the engagement before marriage. What do you think about that? What is your own personal view on that one? You need to find that out. And also I have here, this is quite sensitive. Have you been sexually abused or molested before? It will surprise you. I talk to a lot of people. It will surprise you how many people, especially most of the time we think about girls who have been abused or molested. You won't believe it how many African boys who have been molested or sexually abused. And that may be messing with their minds one way or the other. And see, ask. And that you're not just asking because you want to know or you want to be nosy. Sometimes so that it will be your prayer point. You can pray for the person. You can pray. You know your battle ahead of you. That's why you need to ask. On the sexuality again, what is your sexuality? What is your sexual orientation? Like I said, and then we are saying, for all you know, the person is dressing up like a man and everything. Maybe the person or was so those tendencies. You need to be able to be frank about it, because hey, you can't put this or chances. So do you have any struggles, sexual struggles, and on that sexuality, some people are impotent, or some people may not even have sexual desires. You need to be able to find out, but all these things, it depends on what kind or what stage in relationship you're in. If you're dating, there are some questions you can ask. If you're courting, there are some questions you can ask. You won't just meet somebody on a friendship level and start asking about, are you impotent? And yet, Mr. Don't go and do that one, Mr. White. So circumcision, are you circumcised? Some people are not circumcised. Some people prefer not to be circumcised. There are all kinds of theories out there about that. So be willing to ask and to go into it. All these are when the situation presents itself. And if you want to know, go back to my video where it says how to handle it. Because in your situation, Biana also be some questions with. Is divorce an option? That's also another question you can ask us. in this progressive world, a lot of people think that, you should be able to divorce. As a Christian, I don't recommend divorce. That's one thing that my husband and I talked about before we married. It's never an option for us. So for you who's going to date or court somebody, you should be able to talk about this. Under what terms, under what conditions? When I cheat, will you divorce me? When you get abused, would you divorce me? There are exceptions to this, but you need to be able to talk about this before, you have to be facing those kind of things, And should this marriage lead to marriage? Should this lead to marriage? What terms would you consider? I've already talked about that. Cheating and loss of love. Sometimes people would think so. It's on the topic of divorce. People would think so. I've already lost the love that I have for you, and so I want to divorce you. Ask about that. Should you lose that passion? Because marriage, I believe, is more commitment than love. So should you lose the first love or whatever passion that you want to describe it as? Would you divorce me? In case of childlessness, would you divorce? Would you consider? Would you go outside the marital vows to have a child? Is that important to you? Okay. How do you manage your finances? Individual contributions when you marry, your assets or your joint accounts or joint assets. Some people don't believe that when you get married, you should, open up everything because of the omehu. Obi bewari obi after certain time, no, ordinary BBI by and after they know who BBI, and it's important that you find out about that. What is your immigration status? If you're an immigrant, like I've always said, people who are living in other parts of the world other than their home countries, you need to be able to find out. For yourself, you need to be able to tell the other person what your status is, and also be able to ask the other person what their status is. And on that immigration issue, if you're living, in your homeland, we have, especially Africans, you have tribals, people from different places and stuff. The fact that somebody is called Johnson doesn't mean that they are from Cape Coast. Be a normal free. I'm just saying. So you better ask where they are from, because when you take that person to your parents, they will ask. Don't be surprised in your parents' living room when they ask your partner where they are from, and they tell you like, "Oh, I didn't know you're from Kukrentumi," and their name is called, Carlton. And to find out where they are from, don't just depend on the names, okay? And also, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that, this thing applies to all situations, but we are Africans. I'm African. I'm from Ghana. And believe it or not, even as Christians, we have, some of our parents would have racial tendencies or even tribal tendencies, or they are tribalistic. And so they will ask you. That doesn't mean that, that's what I'm prescribing or saying. But these are real questions that you will encounter. So just be mindful of that they will ask you, especially Mamenka. But, asantiphobia will have Voltarians. Some Voltarians don't like Asantes. Some Northerners don't like gas. All kinds of things in between that. Just be aware that these things are real. As much as you want to talk about it or don't want to talk about it, they are real. Especially those of us who are living in other, countries like America and the Europe. You find people in church and then you're like, oh yeah, we are cool and everything. By the time you get to marry the person, it's a whole different story. So you want to be able to ask, sweetheart. Sis, go ahead and ask, okay? All right. My next question will be, do you drink, and to what extent? Do you do drugs? Believe it or not. Drinking, quite there, you think say people will tell you they're occasional drinkers and they're tongue-speaking, spiritual people. Ain't it me there? I'm not saying anything, but just find out if it's something you want to deal with. Do you do drugs? Believe it or not. Some people, once in a while, they have done something, or they do something to calm their nerves. And to find out, you think this is unnecessary? Find out and you'll be surprised. Some of you will come back to me and tell me what you found out, okay? So, what's your educational background? Do you want to pursue further? Are you currently pursuing your career? The fact that the person is doing something right now or being a doctor doesn't mean that they want to be a doctor. Some people were pushed into being doctors. They probably want to be carpenters. And if you think you're going there because your doctor is attractive, honey, you got to find out, because they are just doing it to check off the list on their parents, thing. And it's real. I've seen a lot of people do that. So find out what exactly their career goals are, what their educational background is. Don't ever assume. Don't ever, because you'll be surprised. Okay. So also you can ask, are you dating anyone else? Are you currently married? Have you been married before? Are you divorced? Are you going through divorce? Do you have children elsewhere? Or with it will surprise you, because and you are coming in, they are married. So ask these questions, especially in our times. These are real questions. Don't think that they are 24 or she is 21 and so she's not married. Honey, you will be surprised. Maybe this is you're going to be their second marriage. So ask that one, okay? One question you can ask is, what is your purpose? Example is, some people want to go into ministry. They want to be missionaries. They want to travel the world and go to, remote places. Maybe once we be, go Dubai and things and just chill and just worship God looking cute. And you need to find out that purpose. The fact that the person is here dressed up today and worshiping in a like a very fancy auditorium doesn't mean that that's where they want to stay the whole time. Some people want to go to the remote areas, and it's, applaudable that they want to do that. And find out what their passion, what their ministry is. If you're a Christian, what they are into, because that would also help you to know what the kind of support that you have to give to the person. And also, I think I have here, are you a true Christian? And when did you accept the Lord? That is very important. Are you a true Christian? Because when you ask people, who you're Christian, a lot of people say, I'm a Christian. And yeah, I'm a Christian. Of course, I'm a Christian. Ask that question. When did you accept the Lord? And you will be surprised. If they don't stammer, they will lie about it. A lot of people don't know when they actually accepted the Lord. And a lot of people do too. But the reason why I bring that question is the fact that they know when they accepted the Lord as their, Jesus as their Lord and personal Savior, means that they are quite aware of their Christian journey and they know where they are going, and they are true Christians, because you need to know exactly when you became born again. So that's important. Don't just end by saying I'm a Christian or you're a Christian. So on that note, I hope that you work on yourself too. Don't just get these questions and go out going to attack anybody. Apply these questions to yourself and quiz yourself first. After you've had your answers, then you can bring it up in your relationship. Like I said, these questions are subject to the stages of your relationship, at friendship level, at dating level, and at courting level, and sometimes in marriage. Okay, but by the time you get married, you need to be totally transparent. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think about this, and I'll see you in the next video.
Subscribe.